then you already know you coming off 20K to put down on the home. But with the VA home loan, you ain't got to do all that. I can purchase multiple homes without having to put money down. I was still able to keep the home in Atlanta as well as purchase a new home here in North Carolina. That's why I tell y'all, get y'all credit together. Yeah, your girl purchased 2 homes without refinancing, selling, or freaking putting money down using the VA home loan benefits. So first things first, what is a VA home loan? A VA home loan is literally designed to help veterans, active duty service members, National Guard members, even eligible spouses, and some more uniformed service members afford to purchase a home. And it's for the low too, y'all. Like, there is some great benefits to being eligible to leverage the VA home loan, such as you don't have to put any money down. With most loans require 20% down. So if you're buying a home that's, let's say, over $100,000, then you already know you coming off 20K to put down on the home. But with the VA home loan, you ain't got to do all that. They make it easy for you to be able to purchase without having to save your coins. So that's a benefit all in itself, as well as it has some of the lower rates for what it offers, right? So I don't think it has the lowest rates for, compared to like FHA loans and things like that. When you look at the benefits of not having to put money down and certain things that help you to get the loan, you'll recognize that the interest rate is kind of like it balances it out. You feel me? Like, it balances it out, in my opinion. You can also leverage the equity of the home within this loan, similar to what you can do with some loans, but just to let you know, you can do that with this one. And clearly, like I said from the title of this video, I can leverage these benefits on more than one home, meaning I can purchase multiple homes without having to put money down and still be able to exercise the full scope of the VA home loan. And just to let you know, there are a few requirements of the VA requires of you when leveraging the loan. So you have to get your house appraised. You do have to pay for that up front. And so, of course, I recommend you find a good appraiser that is not that expensive, but that is good, quality. And then you need your certificate of eligibility, which you can request from va.gov. And I'll link all of this in the description for you for sure. Some reasons why I decided to use the VA home loan and my anecdote to leveraging it was, one, because who wants to really pay 20 down? Now, mind you, that's a good thing, because the less money you have to pay on the loan, the less interest is applied to the loan. However, in my case, I hadn't saved any money and I was really looking forward to setting conditions for me to exit the military, meaning I needed to have various forms of income, or at least set conditions to do so, which was what sparked my interest in real estate. And so that leads me into my story on why and how I was able to purchase 2 homes using the VA home loan. So if you haven't seen the video already of me purchasing my first investment property, aka my first home, please go back and watch that. It's in the transformation/homie vibes playlist. But I want to talk about how I went about purchasing that home. So I was, at the time in 2021, I was in command and I was serving in Columbia, South Carolina. I traveled very often to Atlanta, Georgia, and of course that's a large tourist hub. Like, a lot of people travel there, clearly. So I was thinking about making sure that I purchased a home that was in an area where I could ensure that the home would either be short-term rented or long-term rented and profitable because of how many people moved to the city or visited the city. And so that was my first thought. But if you didn't already know, the VA home loan is not used or cannot be used for your investment property upon initial use. I think you have to at least be staying in the home for upwards of a year or more before you can decide to rent it out or turn it into an investment property. So when you leverage the loan, initially you have to stay in the home. That has to be your primary residence. So don't go calling them talking about you want to use VA home loan for an investment property. They're gonna shut it right on down, because it's clearly stated on, in the documentation that it cannot be used for that initially. But I still wanted to set conditions so that I could use it for that if and in the future I moved from Atlanta to another location, which is exactly what happened. So what did I do to purchase the home in 2021? I found a lender, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. I got a real estate agent. I made sure that I managed my credit because, of course, like with anything, your credit determines how much you'll be approved for when it comes to the loan, or even pre-approved for. And I was working on my debt to income ratio, like making sure I paid down my debt. So managing your credit is a huge part in ensuring that you can purchase and afford the home that you want to get. Like with anything, you can't expect that this process will be like super easy peasy, but I will say that it was, you know, a pretty smooth process, smoother than purchasing my second home. But I did have some challenges that almost prevented me from actually getting the home or even maintaining it after. So I want to make sure you don't do the same thing. So let's get into that. So one of the first things I did, which is why I know, is because I was still living in Columbia and I didn't know any better, I communicated to the lender that I was using that I wanted to leverage the VA loan for an investment property. And I was immediately shut down because you can't use it for an investment property because you have to live in it. So once I found that out, I made plans to, you know, make that happen. And so then I just called a different lender and I communicated that I would be staying there. And I had to do some communicating with my commander and the lender just to iron those details out. But I was able to move forward with the purchasing process. But that's why I'm telling you not to tell them that you're using the VA loan for an investment property, because you have to stay in the home to use the loan. And so with my second property, when I purchased the second property, I had an issue with their lender. They were not familiar with how to use the VA home loan, and I almost ended up paying out of pocket for that. So make sure that you know what's required through the VA home loan so that you aren't forced to be doing things that you don't have to do. Of course, like with anything I tell y'all, is to do your own freaking research. Okay, you may not know how to do it, but you should know how it needs to be done and what the requirements are. And so when I received my documentation, I went through it vigorously, okay? Went through everything line by line by line. And I talked to my mentors and people that I trusted as well as the lender. So go through everything line by line. I don't care how long it takes you. Realize that you're signing a contract and documentation. So of course you need to make sure you understand what's on every single line. I can't leave here without telling you how I was able to get both homes. I do know that your certificate of eligibility can help you understand how much entitlement you have as a veteran. And that entitlement calculator will be on your certificate of eligibility. There is a loan sheet called like the Fannie Mae loan something other. I can't remember the exact name, but I'll make sure to put it on the screen, that shows you per county how much entitlement you can have, like the maximum amount in that county. For me, both of my homes' entitlement was the same. I think the cap was like $805,000 was the cap for both. My entitlement was, I believe, 25% of that amount. So I was able to leverage 25% of $805,000. So that was this amount, because y'all already know I don't do math in public. So really the VA home loan is guaranteeing to the lender that that the VA will back you in the event you're not able to continue to purchase or make payments on the mortgage. And so your entitlement is about 25% of that home loan amount. For example, if my first home is $200,000 $100,000, then my entitlement is $200,000 times 25%, which is $50,000. So that $50,000 that I used, you subtract that from what your full entitlement was based on the county. So that $201 or so thousand that I'm entitled to, because that's 25% of that Fannie Mae amount or maximum amount for a single unit home, I minus that $50,000 from that, and now I have $150,000 entitlement left over. So that means I basically have $150,000 left of entitlement to use in that very same way on other homes, land, or whatever I'm entitled to under the VA loan. So there's home one, which was $200,000, and then home two, let's just say that was $300,000. So now I have $300,000 times 25%, and that's $75,000 of my entitlement that I need to use. So right now, because I have two homes, I've used up $125,000 of my entitlement. And again, you can calculate this information by looking at your certificate of eligibility. But I want to be clear, you still have to be approved for a certain amount based off of your credit. So those are the examples of how I was able to get two homes, leveraging my entitlement, because I hadn't run up my entitlement purchasing the first home. Still haven't run it up purchasing the second home. So technically, I still have some left to potentially purchase a third home or buy land. It just depends on what my credit looks like, where I'm buying the home, and a few other things that may come into play depending on the circumstance. So that's why I'm telling y'all to do your research on va.gov so that you can better understand your situation. So here are some insider secrets, just a few things that I think will help you maximize your benefit in using the VA home loan. Make sure that, again, you have a lender that understands the VA home loans and how they work. You shouldn't be paying extra money. You shouldn't have crazy high interest rates and all of the things. So do your research, Google. I think I Googled something like the best lenders that process VA home loans, and I found a few, and I'll tell you the two that I used towards the end of this video. So remember in the beginning when I was telling you that I wanted to set conditions for the rental property? Yes, I didn't have to sell my second home because I was able to turn my home in Atlanta into a rental property. Therefore, with my credit and my income, I was still able to keep the home in Atlanta as well as purchase a new home here in North Carolina. That's why I tell y'all, get y'all credit together. But yeah, so because I was turning that property into investment property, it didn't necessarily count towards income that I needed to put into that home. But if that is not the case, then you may need to sell your home and then come back and buy your second home, which will be your primary home at the time. With that, I set conditions for it to be a rental property. So I decided on whether it was going to be a long-term rental or a short-term rental, and I was able to do both for a time, but I went with long-term in the end for reasons I won't disclose in this video because it's not about that. But if y'all want to know more about that, let me know in the comments. And then I determined my property management structure, right? So do I want to manage the property? Do I want somebody else to manage the property? And I think y'all can already guess, because y'all already know the girl, is that I'm a convenience girl. So yes, I ended up working with the property management company to manage the property. And then, as I mentioned before, I declared the property as an investment property. So I was not obligated to sell it, nor did I have to put my own money into the mortgage because, again, other people are paying me to live in the space. So a few tools that I used, okay, two lenders. First home that I purchased, I used Mr. Cooper. Great service, online access is great. They really did help me through the home buying process, especially as a first-time home buyer. But I will say Veterans United provided more information as it relates to things that help you to get prepared to purchase your home. So these are the two lenders that I use, and of course I'll link them in the description so you can check them out yourselves. For property management, I use Be Nice Properties. Their business is veteran owned and operated and Black owned and operated, and they are based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been using them down since I turned the property into investment property, and I have no complaints whatsoever. So be sure to check them out. And then to manage, of course, the finances of the property, I use Wave Accounting for small business, and that just really helped me understand like profit and loss and what exactly I could use for write-offs and how to just account for certain expenses to make sure that I'm paying Uncle Sam exactly what I'm due. Okay. And so those are just resources and tools that I use throughout my process, but I want to make sure you have some tools too that I either use or that I looked into myself when it comes to preparing to buy your home and using the VA home loan. So first things first, of course, I mentioned it all throughout this video, is checking out va.gov to check your eligibility, get the documentation and regulations on how the VA home loan works, how you can use it, because y'all, I looked through it and I was like, I can't talk to all y'all about this because I have no idea every single thing. I can only tell you my story, but baby, y'all can use this for a lot of things. So check that out ASAP. Second is the Experian app. This is how I manage and check my credit score for accuracy every single month. It does have a subscription, but I feel like that's worth it so that I have accurate picture of my credit score. But I did learn how to manage my credit and tips and tricks by using Credit Karma. Credit Karma is a free application. As far as I know, it's free. However, your score is not as accurate on Credit Karma, but the information they provide on how to manage your credit and boost it and all the things definitely helped me. So I recommend checking it out, if only for that reason. And then of course, check in with your local VA offices. They have ample of information, of course, people there that have experienced this themselves. So you're able to ask the questions that you need and probably get more information than va.gov or online resources can offer. And the last thing is to find people who have used the VA loan before and ask questions and just leverage their knowledge and experiences. Remember, it's always up to you what you do. It doesn't hurt to get more insight from other people. Okay, mentorship and coaching is there so that you don't make the same mistakes as other people. So that's what I recommend you use. Remember that the VA home loan and of course any other VA benefits are here for you and are such a powerful tool, baby. Don't sleep on it. Do not sleep on it. Do what you gotta do so that you can use this resource to its freaking highest capacity. I'm not even there yet, so I want to help y'all to at least get to where I'm at so you can go above and beyond me. Okay, with that being said, if you want more videos like this or you have any other questions or you want me to elaborate on anything else, please put those details in the comments below. Check out the description for all the links, and of course subscribe to my channel. There is also a playlist called Thriving After Service that talks about transitioning and the different benefits that we can leverage as veterans that I think you should check out for more videos just like this. All right, y'all, so I will see y'all on my next upload. It is your girl, Liz Latrice, and remember to always protect your peace. Bye.